Whoops. Guess I had my mic muted. Well, there goes my whole intro. Well, I'm going to start over. Okay. What's up, guys? It's Strata here, and I got my popcorn and Kool-Aid, so that means we're doing a tutorial, right? Hope you guys know that. So, this is the official announcement of my new tutorial series. I'm going to start off with the basics of basics. So, the first couple of videos are going to be pretty long because I'm going to be basically telling you, and I don't know why I keep saying basically, but basically I'm going to be telling you guys everything you need to know about After Effects, Boujou, and Cinema 4D. So I think this tutorial is going to be like 20 minutes long, so I hope you guys have enough time, you know, whatever. So, alright. We're going to start off, this tutorial is going to be on motion tracking, 3D motion tracking. If you don't know what that is, you're just new to editing, I'm going to show you right now. This is Feel the Legend episode 2 by me. I just want to blow up in the... That right there is motion tracking. Basically, the text is just sitting there on the ground, just chilling, and the camera is moving around like that. So, that's what we're going to learn today. Let me just exit out that. Okay, so, you're going to need Adobe After Effects. I use CS6. You can use whatever you want. Yeah. You're going to need a cinematic. You're really going to need it in 59.94 frames per second. Don't like try to do it with 30, which is like Dazzle. It's just not going to work. And it's going to look like crap. So yeah, just don't do it. You know, if you don't want to make your own because you don't have a recording device, you can just go on YouTube, type in, you know, cinematics on whatever, and you'll get some. So yeah, this is my cinematic I have. I made it, but my friend Trips recorded it for me because my Elgato broke yesterday. So yeah, it's on standoff, and I'm actually working on episode 3 for Feel the Legend, which is Boa Legendary. And so this is going to be one of the cinematics in it. There's going to be text, you know, just floating here and whatnot. So yeah, I'm just going to show you a little bit of shortcuts just to begin off. Say you know, whatever, let me see here. Okay, so say you have, you know, the cinematic like I have. The whole first part is like just randomly still, and you don't want that because it won't make your edit look that good. So let's say about right here it starts to move. So you don't want to just drag that and see, so you can't like really get to the spot. You're like, oh my god, no. So you hold down shift, it snaps it right to it, and I just did it wrong. Hold down shift, snaps right to it. You're like, oh god, that was so easy. Yeah, it was pretty easy. So you again shift, snapped it right in. Pretty cool. So there you see it goes around. It's like, woo, you know, whatever. And this little thing right here, basically, I don't know its exact definition, you know, like timeline of thing or whatever. But what I understand that it does is it renders out whatever part is in it. So basically, say I had this part but only wanted to render out the last part or whatever. So I'd drag this bar over like this, and just at second 10 or whatever, and it'd only do second 10 through 13 and a half or whatever that is. So it would just only render out this part. But in this case, I want this and all of this. So, oh. And my phone just vibrated, so I'm going to put that over there. Okay. So, yeah, this is all we want. So you just want to go and, it didn't do this for me, but sometimes you get black bars around the thing, and so if you want to change that, you just hit this drop down bar, transform, and you move the scale up to like 102 or something, and it gets rid of the black bars. If you have the black bars, then I'm sorry, and that's what you do. And moving on. So once you're ready with that, you got your black bars taken care of and whatnot. You got your cinematic all ready to go. You go up here to composition and add a render queue. Now this is from earlier when I tried to do it and it failed. So gonna go to your settings, make sure quality's on best, on full, and just copy all this. And remember, if your cinematic was 59.94, use the comps frame rate. Don't try to change it from 30 to 59.94 or whatever, because it's not gonna work, and it'll just look like crap, like I stated before. Output module. This is really important. Well, this is pretty important, so you should probably listen up. Right here, change this to JPEG sequence. It's going to turn basically into a whole bunch of pictures, which if I remember it's like 700 something, which is a lot. And you keep all this the same. You don't want your audio because, you know, it's a picture. And push OK. Excuse me. Okay, so now this is very important. Also, you're going to want to save it somewhere. I'm going to save it in Legendary's folder. I'm going to call it motion. Yeah, so I'm going to open that up. I'm just going to save it as stand because that's what I save the video as. And is another quick tip. If you're rendering a large project like a montage, something over like 5 minutes long or something like that, you're gonna, you're gonna run into some trouble whenever you're rendering. It's gonna take a long time. So it's just a little way to speed it up. Before you start rendering, you want to hit caps lock. Basically, what it's gonna do is it's gonna start to render, and as you can see, the picture just stays the same. It doesn't move. That means that basically it's like saving, RAM and other things, your CPU and stuff, because it doesn't have to also calculate it moving and which frame it's on. But if you take off cap locks, it will start to show you basically what it's rendering. It'll give you a little preview. So turn it back on and it just freezes it. It does do it faster in the long run, and little stuff like this, it really doesn't matter that much. If you have a decent computer. Right now I have like 8 gigs allocated to After Effects or whatever. I don't know. But, so that's that. Now, what this is rendering, it's going to create 790 beautiful pictures in a folder that we have. So hopefully you didn't just save it to your desktop, because you'll have a desktop and a half full of pictures. So that's not that good. And as this, finishes up, you're going to want to open up Boujou, which is another program which is basically going to motion track it. I don't know if I already told you this before, but you need Cinema 4D, so I hope you guys have all that. Yeah. So as you hear the ding, you're ready to go. And just going to close out After Effects. I don't need that. And if I go into Boujou, import the sequence, browse your network, go to your desktop, just go ahead and open it right there. Editing, legend, motion. And you're going to see all your pictures. Yeah, 789, 790, whatever. Click on the first picture, not the 01, but 0000000000000, whatever. Open that up. And, okay, this part's important. Your frame rate right here is going to be at 24. You want to, I'm going to show you why you want to apply it first before you do it. If you change it right now, say I'm like, oh no, my frame rate is 59.94, I change it, and you hit apply, it's just going to change it back. So don't do that yet. You basically want to hit apply first, and then come back and change it to 59.94, then hit apply again, and close it out. So now, if you should go in here, you should see all of this. It should look nice and pretty, just like that. Now, on to the actual stuff. This is called Track Features. I want to head over Advanced. I pull this all the way up. You don't have to. If your computer sucks and you're on like 2 gigs RAM or whatever, I wouldn't do this. But those of you that have normal computers, you should probably just bump this up. Hit start. It basically tracks a little better. This is going to take a while. Probably depends on how good your computer is. Mine's been sucking lately, so it's going to take me I don't know, 5 minutes. So I'm not going to sit here and awkwardly talk to you for that amount of time. So I'm going to go ahead and pause it. And when it's done, I will come back. Bye. All right, guys. So we're back. And this is what it should look like after you track your features. It should have a whole bunch of red crosshairs everywhere with yellow lines, I guess you can call them. And they should be kind of stuck to random things, they're all over the windows and stuff. So if it looks like this, you're good up to this point. So now another kind of long step is you hit camera solve. And excuse me, I keep burping for some reason. So you check optimize camera path smoothness. And you hit start. Now this is going to take a minute or something, unless my computer just froze. Okay, good. So, this is basically going to tell you guys about the Bolo clan, which is my clan I'm in right now. I'm lead editor for it. And if you guys don't know what it is, it's a knifing mainly clan. They do some sniping. They're across all platforms, PC, PlayStation 3, and Xbox 360. I don't think they have a Wii, but they might. So yeah, if you're a knifer, then you should probably check them out. They're really good. They just hit 1,000 subscribers, which is a really good milestone. And yeah, so this is probably going to be going up on the editing channel, also my personal channel, Strata Edits. So if you guys haven't subbed to, Bolo and Bolo Editing and my channel, you guys probably should, they're pretty good channels. So I've been told. And so now that this is finishing up here, you should have all these yellow and blue dots kind of just sitting at random places. So what I'm gonna do now is, hold up one second, I'm actually gonna pause. I gotta do one. Alright guys, sorry about that. Okay, so back to where we were at. If you guys have this all set up like this with the blue and okay. Hold on one second. Okay guys, sorry about that again. My brother wanted to get into this Minecraft server, so I had to put it up. Okay, so back to this now for like the 5th time. If you have it look like this, then you're good to go. Okay, next part. This is probably the hardest part of motion tracking out of everything. So basically, you're basically setting up the scene geometry, which is this, but you're basically going to tell Cinema 4D, which is the next program we're going to be into, what to, like, where your floor's at, you know, because if you look at it from this angle, it, for some reason, I'd notice this, but it actually is good. It's not like, usually whenever you're in 3D, and just to let you guys know, to rotate you hold shift, if you guys didn't know that already, but you hold shift and you click down and drag around. Okay, so usually this like plane will be off and like the dots will be weird, but it's actually tracked weirdly perfect for the first time. It's usually never like this. So like if you add a test object like this and see how it's like it's perfectly on, that's exactly where I want my text to be. So if I delete that, so, but a lot of you guys, it's not going to work like that. It's going to be like this test object, which is like a little ladybug, you know. It's cool. It's going to be like upside down or like sideways or something stupid. And so, yeah, I'm going to show you guys basically how to get it to where you want your text to be. So you go to scene geometry, add this, and you add, oh, I already did that. Whoops. Okay. You go down here and you add your x-axis first, which is the type. And I don't know why it's loading. Okay, so basically you just want to hit this right there. You can select it and I'll tell you whatever dot it is. Hold control and select another one and you connect those, which should say 2 points connected. Add another one to your z-axis like this, which would be from right here to right here. I mean, this can basically be made anywhere. It's basically going to make a floor, you know, just kind of a reference point of a plane, and make an origin. So you should have these two should both say 2 tracks connected. This one whoops, this one will be your origin, and you just click it anywhere. Just right here is fine. It just should be around, and you hit connect that. This should only be 1 because it's your origin. You update this a couple times to make sure it's all good, and you add test object, and your test object should be exactly where your text is going to be. So my text is actually going to be up here. So you know, I'm just doing this just so you guys know basically what to do. So that's how you do that. Delete, and that's actually the hardest part. You know, if you can get that down, for some reason people have trouble with that. So if you can get that down, then you're good to go. So I don't want that there. So I'm just gonna go in my okay, scene geometry and delete that, and delete that, just like that. Close that out, and I don't know why it keeps doing that. Huh? Oh, I don't think I updated it. Be sure to always update. There we go. Okay, so this, my little ladybug thing is right where I want it to be. It doesn't look like it's not. Huh. I didn't do an actual coordinate thing, so it doesn't know where it wants to sit exactly. So that's why it's kind of like shifting around. It doesn't really know what to do. So, but that's fine for me because I'll be able to work through that. For this, so now basically all we need to do is let's see if you can make sure you got, yeah, you got the server. Okay. Now we need to export it. You're going to go up here to export, camera solve, and browse. And I'm going to save it back to that same legendary folder. Legendary. I'm going to save it in here. I'm just going to call this, I don't know. I don't really know what to call stuff, so I just name it random letters and numbers. And if you knew me, then you would know I do that all the time. So, and you need to change the scale to 100. That's very important. It's not going to work if you don't do it like that. And also, last thing, you need to make sure this is on Cinema 4D. Which you should probably actually do this in order. I don't know why I did that like that. But we'll change to Cinema 4D. Then you want to change this to 100 and not 1000. So yeah, keep everything else the same. Make sure it's in the right spot. Make sure it's on camera solve 1, valid from frame 1 through 790. Save it. And I'm going to close out of Boujou. Whoops. It's my IP address. So yeah. Okay, bye or whatever. Okay. So, what are we gonna do? Oh yeah. So now we need to open up our Cinema 4D file, which is in my desktop, editing, legendary, motion. There it is. Double click that, open it up. We don't need this for now. And it's going to create this, and you're going to see this little box. Scale that, keep it at 10. It's going to make this, and you should make sure you drag this little arrow to 790. As you can see, it's basically our exact camera movement that we had before. That is on the original cinematic. And now to get to the actual picture, make sure what it looks like. Go here, make a background. Go down lazy. For those of you that aren't familiar with Cinema 4D, this down here is all your materials. So you just double click to create a new material on this thing. And so if I just delete that, double click, it'll create a new one. And you double click it again and it'll bring up this box. Uncheck the specular and change this to your texture, little arrow, change it to load image. And you want to come here, and this is going to be, basically you want to go to your sequence folder where you originally saved all the pictures. Go here, click on the first one, and click this little thing right here, go to animation, and if you did it correctly, this should say 60, or if you're at 30 frames per second, it will say, 30, yeah. So, click that, go like that, and now you're going to add this to your background that you made earlier. So, it should look like this. If you do a little pre-render, that looks a little bit like the map. So, just kind of go through like this. I don't know why there's like unnecessary amount of the light, but it doesn't really come through in the render, so I think we're good with that. I installed this graphics card, and it kind of did some weird stuff to my Cinema 4D and my Boujou. So I don't know what it did, but I can work through it. It doesn't really phase you that much. Okay. Sorry, I'm like losing my voice for some reason, but also, this should be, by default, it should be 1280 by 720. It should be like that whenever you open it up. So if it isn't like that, I would change it right now. And now we're going to create a mo text like this. And I'm just going to have mine sitting here. So basically, I'm going to show you a couple things you can do. If you're going to want it sitting on the floor or whatever, I'll show you what to do. Okay. So basically, you want to, first off, you want to start off by centering it where you want it to be. So I want mine to be right there. So if I go through this, like this, it will be about right there. And it should stay in the exact same spot. I mean, if it's not in the exact same spot, like if it, if it shifts around during whenever you're moving around, then you did something wrong, and you'd probably want to go back and redo your Boujou. So, but mine looks pretty good. It motion tracked pretty good. It's you definitely want to keep with the slant. So if you can see right here, this is actually slanted. So I want to make sure that my text is also slanted, so it kind of looks like it's going with it. Or you could just keep it plain and simple, or whatever you want to do. It's completely up to you at your edit. Just gonna kind of even mine out like that. Bring it up like this. And so this is, my text just kind of sitting there. It's obviously not going to look like this after lights and whatnot. So, yeah, I'm going to show you what to do if you want it look like it's kind of sitting on the floor. So if you want, you can make a floor just like this. And you want to drag this texture, because, I mean, if you look at it right now, it's just a black random thing. You're like, oh, okay, it looks disgusting. I should probably even fix that. So you just want to take this, drag it up to your floor. Click on this. Make sure your projection is on frontal. Right-click floor, Cinema 4D tags, compositing. And then check compositing background and uncheck self-shadowing. So, and if you look at this, the plane should actually disappear. But if we drag it up like this, like so. And this is another thing that actually messed up. My graphics card screwed up. It keeps the plane black. But in yours, if you don't have a weird graphics card, yours will look something like this. It'll look kind of weird and blurry. But whenever it's sitting up, it will look, it'll look just weird and blurry no matter what. But whenever you render it, it looks perfectly fine. It doesn't look like anything's there. So now if you want to make this actually look like it's on the floor, not that it's floating on a random floor, then just take this and click on your mo text. We're going to bring it down a little bit. Go to the side here, a little side view action. Click like that. Let's say we want to just maybe bring it down just a tad more, maybe tilt it up. Whoops, I don't want that. Let's maybe, tilt it just a little bit. Okay, and that looks about good. I want to make sure that my Motex is sitting on the ground pretty nicely, just like that. And another effect you want to do to make it look a lot better is go to Effect and add Ambient Occlusion. Change this to 125. Hit Enter. And then we're also going to add a light. We have our light up here. I'm just going to put it in front. If you click on this thing right here, you can actually get a couple more views on where your light is actually at. And okay, my light is right above. I want it maybe down a little bit, kind of like that. Looks good to me. Okay, back to that. So now if we look at it, it should look like it's sitting right there on the floor, which to me, it kind of looks like it's sitting on the floor. I don't know what it looks like to you. Maybe you're a perfectionist. Maybe you want to move it up a little bit. That looks like it's sitting on the floor. I mean, you can get super detailed with it. I'm not, because I don't want mine on the floor, but if you do want yours on the floor, you should probably go over here and rotate this, make sure it looks decent. So if once you get to this point, and here's another thing you want to take in mind, is the text will it doesn't know where walls are or any of that. So like a lot of people think, oh, I can just move the text back here and it'll look like it's inside the room. Well, it doesn't. It just shows it right in front of it, because the text, Cinema 4 doesn't know that. The programs aren't that smart to know and understand that. So, we have to do it for them. So that's why we have to make our own floor, and that's why we have to put our own scene geometry. So I'm just going to go ahead and that's how you make a floor. That's how you make it look like the floor. I'm just going to go ahead and drag this text up, because I don't want it to look like that. Okay. I just want mine just kind of sitting up there. So, I'm just going to quickly show you guys how to render it out. This is basically what it is. I mean, I'm just going to, instead of right here, it's going to be strata, and then over here it's going to be presents, and then the other, like I said before, this is literally what I'm going to do for episode 3 of Legendary, So Feel Legend episode 3. So, yeah, I haven't done the motion dragging yet. I'm going to do it actually right now. So I'm just going to show you guys how to render it out. So you're going to want to go to your output. Make sure this is all the same, just like this. You're going to change your frame rate to, actually keep it at manual. Okay. And go from 0 to 791. You want to go kind of over. So go 0 to 791. And so then that's all good. And then we'll keep that all the same. Go to your save, and you're going to want to save it. So just say I want it at the desktop or whatever. I would save it as, whatever you want to save yours as. Change this down to AVI movie. Go to options and go to Intel Codec and click OK. Then you're just going to want to render it out, which is by this button right here, which will start rendering out picture by picture and frame by frame. And, in an hour or so, depending on how fast your computer is, you'll be all good, and you'll have a nice motion tracked, cinematic to work with. If you guys have any questions on this at all, and remember, if you guys have any tutorial, like suggestions or anything, make sure you post those in the comments below. And if you liked this tutorial, then make sure you leave a comment, subscribe, definitely like the video. And if you didn't like it, don't just dislike the video and leave, make sure you actually tell me what you didn't like about it, your voice is weird or whatever. But alright, so that's it. This was 24 minutes long, so that's pretty long. Alright, I'll talk to you guys later.